John Gotti was one of the most feared men in America. Known as the Teflon Don, he evaded justice for decades, flaunted his power, and became a media sensation. But how did the law finally catch up to the man who seemed untouchable? Today we're uncovering the rise and fall of Gotti. His downfall wasn't just about one man. It was about the relentless pursuit of justice. Law enforcement learned from their failures, adapting new strategies to break through his armor. Gotti's celebrity status made him hard to convict, but it also made him a target. Behind the scenes, the government was determined, building a case with patience and precision. The journey to his conviction was long, but it proved that even the most powerful can be held accountable. The myth of the Teflon Don would soon unravel. This is the story of how persistence finally brought down a legend, and how the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way out. John Gotti's rise began in the Bronx, born into poverty as one of 13 children. He learned the rules of the street early, dropping out of school and joining gangs. Ambitious and fearless, he quickly caught the eye of the Gambino crime family. Gotti climbed the ranks through loyalty, ambition, and a reputation for ruthlessness, eventually earning his place as a made man in the Gambino crime family. But he wanted more than just a soldier's life. In the 1980s, Gotti clashed with boss Paul Castellano, seeing him as weak and out of touch. Gotti orchestrated Castellano's murder outside Sparks Steakhouse in 1985, a bold move that could have meant death. Instead, it made him boss of the Gambino family, the most powerful mobster in America. His journey from street kid to kingpin was complete, but his ambition would set the stage for his eventual downfall. The world was watching, and so was the law. Gotti's reign had begun, but the clock was ticking. Between 1986 and 1990, Gotti faced 3 separate trials, 2 for assault and 1 for racketeering. Each time, he walked free. His defense team successfully challenged evidence, and juries repeatedly acquitted him, earning him the infamous nickname, the Teflon Don, because nothing seemed to stick. Despite these repeated acquittals, federal prosecutors refused to give up. Under the leadership of U.S. Attorney Andrew J. Maloney, law enforcement shifted strategy. Instead of pursuing individual charges, authorities aimed to build a comprehensive case under the Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO. This approach allowed prosecutors to target the entire structure of organized crime rather than isolated incidents. The breakthrough came when Gotti's underboss, Salvatore "Sammy the Bull" Gravano, agreed to cooperate with the government. Gravano was facing a life sentence himself, and his decision to testify marked the first time a high-ranking Mafia member had turned against an American mob boss. His testimony would become the cornerstone of the government's case, offering jurors an unprecedented look at the inner workings of the Gambino family. The trial began in January 1992 in Brooklyn's federal court and was presided over by Judge I. Leo Glasser. Federal prosecutors charged Gotti with 13 counts, including 5 murders, conspiracy to commit murder, loan sharking, illegal gambling, obstruction of justice, and tax evasion. All charges were brought under RICO statutes, highlighting the systemic nature of his criminal activity. Wiretaps played a critical role in the trial. FBI agents had planted bugs in the apartment above the Ravenite Social Club, Gotti's Manhattan headquarters, capturing him discussing murders, beatings, and the inner workings of the mob. These recordings revealed conversations that contradicted the public persona Gotti had carefully cultivated. Sammy Gravano's testimony over 9 days detailed 19 murders he had either witnessed or committed, many of which were allegedly ordered by Gotti. Gravano's accounts provided jurors with an inside view of the Mafia hierarchy, illustrating both the reach and brutality of Gotti's organization. The prosecution also used Gotti's own words against him. Transcripts of wiretaps showed Gotti boasting about ordering hits and criticizing fellow mobsters, leaving little doubt about his role as a criminal mastermind. Gotti's lead attorney, Bruce Cutler, was disqualified due to conflicts of interest arising from his potential involvement in discussions captured on the wiretaps. Gotti was forced to rely on Albert Krieger, a respected lawyer, but someone less familiar with Gotti's inner circle. The defense attempted to undermine Gravano's credibility, portraying him as a self-interested murderer willing to lie to save his own life. However, the volume of corroborating evidence, including wiretaps, testimony, and Gotti's own statements, left the defense with little room to maneuver. Gotti's carefully constructed public image unraveled under the weight of the evidence. On April 2, 1992, after just 14 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict: guilty on all counts, including murder. Gotti showed little emotion, but the era of his invincibility was finished. One of the most feared men in organized crime had finally been brought down. Gotti was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and was sent to the U.S. Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois, where he spent the remainder of his life in near total isolation. Justice had finally caught up. The legend was shattered, and the message was clear: no one is above the law. He died from throat cancer in 2002, ending the reign of the Teflon Don once and for all. The Gotti case left a lasting mark on both law enforcement and American culture. The successful use of RICO statutes became a blueprint for dismantling organized crime across the country. Prosecutors learned the value of turning insiders, gathering extensive electronic evidence, and building layered conspiracy cases that traced patterns of criminal activity. Gotti's downfall also marked the decline of traditional mafia power in New York. With their leadership exposed and loyalty eroded, the five families lost both influence and credibility. The trial captivated the public and inspired numerous books, documentaries, and films. Gotti became a symbol of the mafia in American pop culture, a cautionary tale and a figure of enduring fascination. The trial of John Gotti provided lessons that remain relevant today. It demonstrated the importance of protecting and managing witnesses and informants, the effectiveness of electronic surveillance in complex criminal cases, and the value of meticulous jury selection and protection in high-profile trials. It also highlighted the need for strategic media management in cases attracting national attention. Most importantly, the case illustrated that patience, investigative persistence, and insider cooperation can pierce even the most fortified criminal organizations. The conviction of the Teflon Don showed that no one, no matter how powerful, is beyond the reach of the law. John Gotti's story is more than just a tale of crime and punishment. It is a lesson in law enforcement strategy, human ambition, and the ultimate limits of power. From the Bronx to the courtroom, Gotti's rise and fall reshaped organized crime and left a permanent mark on American history. If you found this deep dive into the Teflon Don fascinating, make sure to like this video, share it with friends who love true crime, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth stories about history, crime, and the cases that shaped our world. Turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.